Over the weekend, something tragic, very tragic happened. We heard about an explosion in somewhere in Kubwa, where some people were said to have died. Our correspondent did a story on that. We'd like for you to take a look at that.
It was a Black Friday in Abuja, the nation's capital, as some persons witnessed the kerosene tank explosion, the gutted part of the popular Kubwa village market, leading to the loss of lives and property. According to reports, the incident happened around 6 p.m. when traders were almost closing for the day. The sudden explosion consumed 2 shops, while some roadside traders were also affected.
What happened there yesterday was so very terrible, very terrible. When the thing happened, I was thinking it's an explosion, because the way the thing sound, the way escalates, explode up, honestly. Every we that we are even back of it, I was back of it when it happened. We that there, we even run away.
If there's any effective fire service station around here, they should identify, because they have failed. They have failed. What is the essence of emergency? They have failed. They were not here. Efforts from people around. It was at the extreme end when lives has been lost, damages been caused. It's quite unfortunate.
Responding to the claims of the fire service not showing up in time to extinguish the fire, the acting director, FCT Fire Service, Sani Saidu, speak.
No, that is a lie. Okay. See, do you know this NYSC come here? Just a stone throw. So our people, they were there because NYSC corpus, they are having this monthly exercise. So they normally call us to position our trucks there, in case of any fire outbreak within the camp. So we are just here.
Like the other one the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, was also at the market to respond to the incident.
We were all here. All the first responders were on ground. We had the FCT Fire Service Kubwa station, Asokoro station and Zuba. We all turned out. NEMA was here, FCT Emergency Management Agency, the police, civil defense, road safety, we were all on ground. When the explosion happened, so far we have recorded 6 deaths. The bodies have been taken to the mortuary. We have 8 people in Kubwa General Hospital. They are receiving treatment. Some people took their relatives to some other hospitals. We are yet to get the final figure. So far, that is what has happened, and everything is on course.
Effort to speak to the police proved abortive, but in a statement released by the police spokesperson, Josephine Ade, the police command has commenced investigations into the unfortunate fire incident.
As it stands, the kerosene explosion in the village market in Kubwa has left a devastating effect on traders and for people who have lost loved ones as a result of this explosion. Mardiya Umar, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Quite sad and terrible news. According to reports, 5 were burnt beyond recognition. But what really is sad about this is one of the eyewitnesses was saying there was no fire service that could come, immediately to their rescue. Does this say that, our firemen are inefficient? Because I can remember sometimes when these fire outbreaks happen, when you call them, they either say there's no water or there's no fuel.
All manner of rescues.
All of that.
I mean, the thing is that if you look at our system, our institutions, they are not prepared to respond to emergency situations. We do not have a police system, a fire service system, that is capable of responding to emergencies. So when you are in a desperate situation, you give a distress call. In most cases, the chances are you may not get the immediate response for whatever situation that you might be in. So, and it's quite sad, really. Now, even if when you manage to get the response, it's slow. So it happens, and then before you get the response, maybe hours later think about it. Let's talk about the issues of kidnapping and all of that, for instance. We heard about how bandits will go to certain communities and villages, operate for hours, 2-3 hours, and there's no response
security.
from any security, agent. And that's because most times you don't even find the security officials
within,
a very close distance, so they are sparse, sparsely located, and so it becomes a problem addressing emergency situation. We can only hope that something can be done, on this to make sure that we have a much more efficient system when it comes to fighting fire. And sometimes, aside the problem of even the firefighters coming to the scene in good time, you also have this problem of them having access to the place where the fire is happening because of the lack of planning in some of the locations. Access to the real place becomes a problem, and so you find that even when they get there, they are stranded because they cannot find their way in to where the fire is happening.
But I think
be that as it may, it's very important we have a system that can respond to emergencies.
Right, but I think in developed world, they've found a way, to deploy other methods, in responding to emergencies. Like we see in other countries, sometimes they use choppers, and all of that to have, if we can't have access on the ground, we could go all the way up. But we don't get to see that, and we've seen countless times where, the Nigeria Fire Service are saying they've gotten new this, new that, but still we're seeing such situation. It's really sad.
Guess what? Well, if we are struggling to, have an efficient, firefighting system in place, then dreaming of having choppers, to do the job may look like a dream that is too far away, from us and all that. But if only we can even have, something much more efficient, I think that will go a long way in helping, if possible, attend to some of these pressing issues, because we cannot have people dying every day. Just a few days ago, it's about the Ikoyi building collapse, where many experts will tell you, well, it's as a result of negligence. From experts to maintain the standards, to observe the regulations, that is required to raise raise that kind of structure. But this is where we are. So Nigeria, we should abide by our laws. We should not, in the name of trying to cut cost,
cut cost. We don't need to cut cost when it comes to disasters, when it comes to emergencies. These are pressing needs, and if this is one of the many things that the government can do for the people, it's really, really very important that they do that.